Thanks for checking out this video. Don't forget, like and subscribe.
One of the key things here is the attempt to compete with Netflix, because Netflix has such a big head start on everybody and is in so many more homes. So, again, in theory, if this all goes the way they plan, now the thing with both of them is that you'd have to work around different contracts and things like that. Now, the AEW is only on HBO Max in the United States. It's not on all those homes in the rest of the world, only United States. UFC is on the Paramount Plus most everywhere, but the key is mostly Western Hemisphere. Like UFC, like the show that they just did Saturday, it was really big in Argentina, Brazil, Honduras, Bolivia, it was actually bigger in South America than because it was first in a lot of places there. In the United States, it was only fifth for the day on Paramount Plus. So, that's really where it's strong. So, but it's still not like worldwide. There's still a lot of places that still have, their old existing deals, and it's mainly U.S., Central and South America for the UFC and all that. So, but it still expands. It will expand the reach of each. So that's a good thing. Then the one red flag was that when they were talking about UFC, they did not talk about AEW. They talked about sports, and AEW is listed as entertainment, not sports, and they did not talk about much in the way of entertainment. But when they talked about UFC, one of the things that they talked about was the idea that we can put UFC back on cable. And so the key to that is when they're only a couple weeks in, and that immediately told me, like, no one has said this and will admit this because you don't do that they already realized that they made a bad deal, which everybody knew going in when they made that deal that they made a bad deal. But they know it. Because the whole thing originally was that, it was going to be exclusively on Paramount Plus. It was there to build Paramount Plus. You're only a couple weeks in. There's no way that you can make it financially pay off on Paramount Plus, not even close. So now they're talking about, well, we could put some shows on, CBS. Which was going to happen anyway. They were going to put some shows on CBS, but also we can start putting the shows on Saturday nights on TNT. So the idea is that they're already wanting to kind of, use it as right, make it not just a cable exclusive property, but also get it on television, which originally the idea was not to do that. But when he said Saturday night on TNT, all of a sudden it's like, well, what's on Saturday night on TNT?
I have no idea. I'm joking. Okay. It's AEW, obviously.
Of course. Yes, Collision. So that could be bad. It could be good. It could be a lot of different things. If they're going to do a regular thing, then that's 43 weeks a year. If they're going to do it like once a month, it's 12 weeks a year. AEW, if they go, let's say they go 7 to 9 and AEW goes 9 to 11, with the UFC lead-in, that's great for AEW. Their numbers will be up. If they go 8 to 10 and AEW goes 10 to midnight, the first hour will be up, but that 11 to midnight probably won't do so well. They could cancel AEW, or they could move it to Thursday, which would be a better night anyway for them. They could move AEW to TBS. There's so many different ways that this could go, some of which, again, one of which could be they just go, hey, we're going to put the UFC on. It's going to draw more viewers than AEW and get rid of Collision. That's the worst case scenario for AEW. The best case scenario is, it gets the UFC lead in and Collision will be a stronger show for it. So, that was probably the most significant thing when it came to AEW was the mention of the idea of UFC back on television and he specifically said TNT. There was even talk of UFC on HBO. although HBO television doesn't mean anything compared to what it used to, especially not for fights. It's a different era. Like UFC always wanted to get on HBO years and years and years ago. One of the interesting things is that HBO and Showtime will be owned by the same company. So, that's kind of an interesting little thing there. But they talked about how the sports profiles, like the TNT Sports could now air on CBS, some of them, the big ones, like some of the hockey and Final Four, and some of the CBS sports things that they own, they could put it on TNT, TBS, somewhere else. So there's a lot of options for them there. The big thing everyone is looking at is like, from a wrestling standpoint, from a UFC standpoint, is what does it mean? For UFC, it means it's going to mean more exposure. It's a good thing for UFC. For the news, it's horrible, absolutely horrible, because the same people who were in control of Fox News will then be in control of, I should say that's not correct, but the people who are in charge of CBS News, and there's been a lot of issues at CBS News, will be in control of CNN. That's when you have, media, so much media control by so few people. It is never a good thing, no matter what. From an AEW standpoint, there's just, again, it could be great. Right now, it would appear to be only a positive, but that doesn't mean it will be.
Have you grabbed your F4WOnline.com shirt yet? Well, we got a bunch of them. They're up in the store right now. F4WOnline.com/shirts. You can grab your -5 stars shirt, your Dave Meltzer Wrestling Observer shirts, even the brand new After Dark Radio shirt. You love Granny? We have Granny's Gang shirts. Have you ever won a shoot battle royal? Probably not, but you can tell people you did. So check out the store. All of these great shirts and more. It's through Pro Wrestling Tees. F4WOnline.com/shirts. That's F4WOnline.com/shirts.